After angrily criticizing the boss for resigning on the spot, Jiang Yan was picked out by street visits and became a guest of passersby. The program aims to provide career guidance for contemporary young people. In the first episode, we focused on the topic of dropout and playing games. And then one person, one hang, one computer, in 3 days, the game will be popular all over the internet. Audience petition, Jiang Yan returns. Sports persuasion of quitting teachers, desperate illiteracy, men's football U20, part-time cartoonist, a passerby became a permanent guest like this. Is there anything else he doesn't know? The audience was shocked to find that the taste of the program had changed, and persuasion had become teaching. Is there any other industry where he can't make money? Major companies offered to Jiang Yan like snowflakes, but all were rejected. Facing the camera, Jiang Yan looked innocent. Don't you always say, young people don't care too much about money? You're absolutely right. So now I just want to learn more. Reporter. When exactly should we learn? It's never too late to learn. Dear bosses, T.T novel keyword. Live streaming persuasion to quit. I, the destined worker, have no pop-ups, live streaming persuasion to quit. Me, destiny worker. Download the complete set of TXT, live stream to advise against withdrawal. Me, destiny worker latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. 001, What are you doing with me? Seeking to collect tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1001. What are you doing with me? Seeking to collect tickets, Shangjing, a small square on the west side of CBD. An outdoor vehicle is unloading goods in front of the most imposing building. 2 men, one old and one young, hid behind the car and lit mosquito coils to catch fish. Brother Sue, as soon as the first batch of materials was sent out, the audience had already called us professional dissuasion engineers. What a mess. The program has a topic before it even goes live, isn't that why it's so popular? But all the flying guests have left with buckets. They even posted Weibo and cut ties with our program team. Black and red are also red, little comrade. Then it will start broadcasting right away. There are fewer people now, what should we do? Pick up any passersby. How could there be such a social bully like this? Do you have to trust your old comrades? Anyway, guests are all sent to be beaten by society. Who wouldn't have 2 noses and 1 eye? Hey, look at that one. With a gloomy expression on his face, he must have just been fired. Hello. Don't make any noise, only such unlucky people have a topic. Topic-oriented, understand. I mean, he seems to have heard. Unlucky guy, his name is Jiang Yan. That old fogey is right. He has just been fired. To be precise, he fired the boss himself. Watching 2 guys mocking him come over, he was holding back his tricks when the phone rang. Jiang Yan reached out to stop the 2 of them, then answered the phone and placed it in his ear. Immediately, a roar came. Jiang Yan, do you want to do it or not? They all said that there will be a planning case this week. Time is tight and the task is heavy. Don't leave the company easily. As a chief planner, if you say you're not here, then you're not there. Do you still want to do it? What's the industry like now? Love to do it, don't do it, get lost. If you don't do it, there are plenty of people doing it. The person on the phone was obviously quite angry, as can be seen from the expressions of the 2 guys across from him. Jiang Yan doesn't care. A stranger asking for directions, after a sentence, goes their separate ways, which is not so awkward. I said, who are you? Jiang Yan, I'm your boss. Do you still have some basic respect? Oh, Kevin Liu, right. Sorry, I deleted the phone number and couldn't see the notes. Jiang Yan, you. The person across from me was a bit angry and frustrated, but before he could speak, he was interrupted. Didn't the HR department tell you? I have already resigned, the contract has just been signed, and it's still hot. Yes, I won't do it anymore. Whoever likes to do it will do it. I won't serve you anymore. Plan a case. Do you really want it? I worked hard for several months to come up with a case, and I haven't forgotten to send you a message on Sunday. What the hell are you doing? Take your wife and children out to be smart, and I can't read it back. Did you remember today? You think it's beautiful. Go ahead and do it yourself. After so many years of holding things in his heart, Jiang Yan finally spoke out, feeling comfortable. Turn off the phone casually, looking proud. The people across the street, old and young, are all foolish. Ask for directions, right? Where are you going? Jiang Yan put away his phone and put on a friendly smile. Ah. Oh. Yes. No. The older middle-aged man quickly reached out and shook hands with Jiang Yan, who looked alert. I am Su Sheng, the chief director of the program team for Surfing in the New Workplace. This is not just a recent online program that is looking for passersby and guests. I see that you have exquisite bones and a beautiful appearance. Stop. Jiang Yan reached out to stop, I'm not interested. After speaking, turn around and leave. At the beginning of this year, even scammers are not easy to do. They dare to switch offline, what kind of retro and pure prison style. Jiang Yan muttered as he walked, while Director Su behind him had a black line and turned to look at the young one. As the chief director, how can one start at a disadvantage in front of a small intern? He quickly took a few steps and followed Jiang Yan. Hey, little brother, we are really part of the program team. Speaking, he also pointed to the huge light sign at the nearby bus stop. Look, that's the advertisement we put on our program. Pointing back again, there was a car loading and unloading equipment. That's our filming team. Jiang Yan turned his head in disbelief and looked in the direction of his fingers. A scammer wouldn't have spent so much money deceiving me with that 5-digit balance. What are you doing? Director Su's blood pressure soared and he pulled his internship assistant over. Xiao Zhu, tell him about it. It's like this. The young man didn't seem to have expected anything to happen here, so he hesitated and glanced at Jiang Yan. Having been in the workplace for so many years, Jiang Yan naturally knows something about human relationships and worldly wisdom. My name is Jiang Yan, you can call me Huo Gu. Now is the stage of unleashing oneself. There are human and worldly wisdom, but not many. Good Jiang, Xiao Yan saw his attitude ease and his face lit up with joy. The purpose of our program is to provide career guidance for contemporary young people. This is not due to the recent popularity of lifestyle live streaming programs, so we have cut some resources from traditional programs and made special programs for online live streaming of workplace life. Of course, young people wouldn't say that Director Su has been assigned. They are now worried about how to make a breakthrough and return to the main station. A while ago, there was a hot topic about dropping out of school at the age of 16 to play games. Jiang. Do you know that? I know. Jiang Yan nodded, it's been over a month, hasn't it? Your reactions are slow enough. Director Su. Yes, we also know what Jiang said. It's not that we've been constantly contacting the filming company to finalize the contract, which is why we've been delaying some time. Then. We're looking for you, but we're missing a passerby guest. We'd like to see if you're interested in participating in our program. The young man finished speaking and looked at Jiang Yan with an expectant expression on his face. How much does it cost per day? As soon as Jiang Yan spoke, a strange synthetic sound came to his ear. That kind of. Pay attention to this man's name as Xiao Shui, that kind. Just that content, but it instantly cured Jiang Yan's short video PTSD. The system has been activated and the host has accepted the invitation from the other party. The binding will be completed. We usually pay 200 yuan a day as passersby actors. Director Su hesitated a bit and thought to himself that considering your level of acting skills, he could add more. Result. Deal, sign the contract. Ah. Director Su looked bewildered. Okay, the internship assistant excitedly ran to collect the contract. Jiang. Brother Jiang, I didn't see it. You're really talkative. Su Sheng wiped his sweat while staring at him. A handsome young man who can tidy up well and play a small role in the play. Unfortunately, he was dressed in plain clothes, with messy hair on his head and a terrifying white face. It's a bit regrettable. Well, I'd better speak up. Jiang Yan is very perfunctory, his attention is entirely focused on the system. The binding of the Heavenly Destiny Worker system has been completed, and this system aims to assist the host in becoming the world's #1 worker. Jiang Yan was completely speechless. Detected that the host is about to join the game company, related tasks are being generated. Task requirement. Use live streaming platforms to promote oneself and accumulate 1 million likes. Rewards for completion. 1. Game development related professional skill gift package. 2. Clearing the host's outstanding debts from Huabei. Game company. Jiang Yan's heart suddenly surged. This task is really thoughtful, giving both skills and money. But the system, do I still count what I'm spending now? Seeing no response from the system, Jiang Yan decisively took out his phone and began clearing his shopping cart. By the way, Director Su, when will our program start filming? Jiang Yan followed behind the director and walked towards the filming location. Since we have decided to earn this 200 yuan, we naturally need to understand the basic situation. Su Sheng used to worry about him being nervous and not appearing on camera, but now that he still has leisure time shopping, he secretly thinks that this person is really a big heart. I seem to have found the right person this time. Shooting is about to begin, and our guests will arrive soon. You can go up and meet them. Oh, I'm familiar with this building. Jiang Yan smiled and took the contract, signing his own name casually. Then, like a big star, he followed Director Su onto the elevator. As Jiang Yan watched the other party's short and thick fingers press the 18-layer button, his heart thumped. Isn't it so coincidental? How many companies are there on the 18th floor? 2 minutes later, Jiang Yan stood under the painted wall of Lu 408 Studio, his face speechless. System, are you playing with me here? Director Su was shocked by him and also had a proud expression on his face. Have you heard of it? A well-known mobile game company in the industry. How about it, do you have a brand? Jiang Yan scratched his head. I know. Just resigned. New book for collection and recommendation, 2 chapters before listing, explosive. If you have any hot topics you want to read, you can leave a message and we will consider them later. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 002, 16 year out of school, 3rd year out of school, middle-aged unemployment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2002. 16 year out of school, 3rd year out of school, middle-aged unemployment workplace experience. Experience it. I just left this door. Jiang Yan didn't even know what to say, and the receptionist kindly brought a few glasses of water. Huogu, did you pick up the client? Looking at the young girl at the front desk whispering to him, Jiang Yan felt that the situation was simply ridiculous. He doesn't feel quite right here. Director Su was completely dumbfounded. You said. You just resigned. Where? Which company? Jiang Yan had no choice but to put a paper cup into his hand and pouted at the large signboard. Hey, Brother Hua. They gave it to the guests, why did you drink it? The receptionist slapped him and smiled at the assistant, saying, "I'll get you another cup later." After that, she ran away. Jiang Yan didn't explain on his end. He completed the resignation procedures in a few days and left the company with a clean slate, which many people in the company are still unaware of. "Now it's okay, how carefree you are when you leave. When I come back, I am even more carefree." Jiang Yan's eyes lit up. "Yes, this trouble is not my responsibility now. The contracts have all been signed. Anyway, I'll carry 200 yuan in my pocket for this day. As for whether or not I'm allowed to be on camera, it's up to him. The director will worry about it himself." What else can be said about such a legitimate opportunity to fish? Jiang Yan turned his head and smiled proudly. Director Su over there is also a black line. He didn't hold back his good breath when he tried to find Jiang Yan. It's hard to say whether an ordinary person can develop any game on the road has played it or not. Of course, it's best if you haven't played it before, then it's perfect. When the time comes to push into the program, a reliable negative textbook will also fit the theme of their program. Professional dissuasion teacher, netizens have already given names, there is no reason not to follow along. However, this guy in front of me is actually an undercover agent. Brother Jiang, are you really not sent by an enemy to play with me? Director Su has a black line at his end. Of course not, I was on the street talking on the phone and singing a song. I was just happy when you pulled me here. Who am I going to reason with? Jiang Yan still had that harmless smile. You see, since it's all like this, why don't we just make the right move, isn't it better? What's good? Su Sheng was about to burst into tears, don't the audience think we colluded in acting? Upon hearing this, Jiang Yan laughed even louder and said, it's just acting. And you see, what kind of gimmick is it for the newly eliminated post-.90s social animals to return to their old land and pursue revenge? Are they still worried about popularity? Director Su. Yeah. How could I not have thought of it? Just now I felt like I was deceived. I don't know why now, but the boy in front of me is so pleasing to the eye. Brother Jiang, I haven't consulted yet. What did you do before? Planning, team-led strategy. Jiang Yan drank the paper cup in his hand in one gulp. No wonder. Turns out it's half a colleague. Su Sheng suddenly felt a sense of familiarity. But on second thought, the money my silly son spent on the game turning around, he grabbed onto Jiang Yan's sleeve. You pay me back my hard-earned money. After a harmonious exchange between the two, the guests finally arrived at the scene. Director Su finally let go of Jiang Yan and led him into the conference room to give a brief introduction to the three people they met for the first time. This is Su Chang, the protagonist who dropped out of school at the age of 16 and started playing games. Now, he is joining our program to promote his team. Oh, I've heard so much. Jiang Yan looked at the young man in front of him, fully embodying the 4 words of youthfulness and vigor. The self-media account is doing well. With a perfunctory handshake, Jiang Yan gave his own evaluation. Then, regardless of the child, he turned back to look at another young man. This person has a polite appearance, wearing thick glasses, and looks more like a rolling king than a gamer. Pan Liming, who was out of college in his junior year, was also preparing to start his own business. Coincidentally, he met our program's launch and signed up as a guest. Jiang Yan is interested in this statement. Oh. Starting your own business. Do you have a 5-figure savings account at home? Jiang Yan warmly shook hands with him. No. Pan Liming felt a bit shy. Oh, then work hard and start playing small games. If you can't, you can go back to school first. After he finished speaking, Pan Liming didn't react much, and Su Chang beside him sneered disdainfully. It is obvious that he does not agree with Jiang Yan's statement of going back to study. Upon seeing this, Director Su quickly interrupted and turned his gaze to Jiang Yan. This is Jiang Yan, the 3 hot yen. Just resigned from this company and happened to be invited by us as a passerby guest. Ha, I still don't think it's a big shot. Su Chang's hostility this time was completely hidden. It turns out to be Senior Jiang. If there are any questions in the next few days, I will consult with you. No problem. Jiang Yan had a good impression of the young man and shook hands with him again. Su Chang, who was on the side, didn't say anything and just lowered his head to play with his phone. Director Su saw that the three of them had already met, so he began to explain some shooting matters. Simply put, it took 20 minutes for the assistant to retrieve 2 notebooks. These are the scripts for both of you. Let's take a look first. The content on the first day is not much, and if there are no issues, we will start filming in the afternoon. Script. Jiang Yan suddenly became curious. That's right, some key materials not only need to be used for live streaming, but also for post-production editing. So it's important to prepare in advance, which is the script. What about mine? Jiang Yan pointed to himself. Your. Su Xing felt a bit embarrassed, but couldn't help but explain, so he just said it directly. The position that Jiang Yan replaced was originally a small celebrity. This little celebrity's character is someone who enjoys playing games and often interacts with fans on Weibo about game content. Isn't it that the bucket has run away? The character design doesn't match Jiang Yan, so the script won't be useful. Oh, I'm a substitute for emotions. What should I do now? Jiang Yan asked. Su Sheng was also a bit embarrassed. You don't need the script anymore. Anyway, you're familiar with it, just act in your true colors. Psychologically, he said, anyway, you don't have many shots, it doesn't matter. In the following time, Director Su began to explain the notebook to the other 2 people. Jiang Yan continued shopping with nothing to do. As the clock pointed towards 11 o'clock in the morning, a figure arrived late and appeared outside the frosted glass door of the conference room. Oh, the landlord has arrived. Let me introduce it to everyone. Director Su stood up and welcomed the person who came in outside the door. The other 2 also followed the sound and saw a young man with oily hair and pink face, dressed in a high-end suit and shiny leather shoes, which were out of place with the scene in the office outside. Su Chang's eyes lit up and he quickly went up to say hello. Han Liming, on the other hand, felt a bit shy. He put on his glasses and also went up to introduce himself, shaking hands. When it's Jiang Yan's turn, he is still playing with his phone. It's you. Lu Kaiwen looked shocked. This guy just sprayed himself with dog blood, why did he come back in the blink of an eye? Is this a regret? It is indeed Jiang Yan's personality, what a thick skin. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. 003, isn't it just self-promotion? Look, okay. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3003. Isn't it just self-promotion? Look, okay. Hello, I am a temporary guest for surfing in the new workplace. During the filming of the program, I would like to disturb your company. Jiang Yan looked serious and reached out his hand. That look is like an important business occasion when we first meet. On the other hand, Lu Kaiwen had already started cursing his mother in his heart. What are you pretending to be, a big-tailed wolf? Who was cursing on the phone just now? You've become a civilized person now. You're good, Jiang Yan. Why didn't you see that you were still a playwright when you were in the company before? Lu Kaiwen is not doing well as a whole. I was originally thinking that Jiang Yan would resign and the production team would come. There were a lot of things to deal with in the company, so I rushed to the company. As a result, this old man sat in the office playing with his phone in such a grand manner. What other program guests have you become now? Jiang Yan. Are you really here to play with me? In Lu Kaiwen's heart, a little devil spun a fork and flew up, wanting to throw it and stab the guy across from him to death on the spot. Unfortunately, he cannot. Promoting the current open-world mobile game project through the program is a task that has been directly suppressed from above. If there's any trouble, he can't afford it. It is said that barefoot people are not afraid of wearing shoes, and now Jiang Yan is the one barefoot. There's no need to provoke him. Lu Kaiwan sorted out his thoughts and finally stuffed his anger back into his stomach. The little devil in his head was also tied into a zongzi, and even the fork was snatched away by the little angel beside him. Director Su, I have looked up to you for a long time. Lu Kaiwan turned around and warmly shook hands with Director Su. While muttering in my heart whether I can't afford to provoke or avoid it, I asked about the situation. Director Su, these few. The meaning is very obvious. Let Director Su introduce it and help himself out. Result. This is Su Chang, the protagonist who dropped out of school at the age of 16 and played games a while ago. This is Pan Liming, who dropped out of junior year and is also preparing to start his own business. The outstretched hand was grabbed by Jiang Yan, and the introduction in his mouth was word for word. As for myself. Jiang Yan, 3 hot yen. I just resigned from this company, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm special. Lu Kaiwan's palm was held in pain, and the little angel in his mind was about to throw a fork. Jiang Yan let go as soon as he saw that his breath was about to come out. Director Su quickly stepped out to stop them and began to introduce the next shooting matters to a few people in a friendly manner. The atmosphere temporarily calmed down a lot. Just looking at Lu Kaiwan's occasional glances at Jiang Yan, the matter seems far from over. Time flashed into the afternoon. Alright, start up and debug the signal in the live broadcast room. With the director's command, all departments began to move. There are a total of 4 signal sources in this program, 3 of which are set up in the temporary converted workshops of 3 small meeting rooms. The main signal source is a mobile camera that follows the host's footsteps throughout the entire company, with the main purpose of showcasing the bits and pieces of the game production industry to the audience. The format of live streaming programs is somewhat like an old-fashioned American workplace comedy. A camera, a female host, occasionally asks some strange questions, including well-designed ones and live performances. Of course, with the addition of Jiang Yan, a variable without a script, there must be more on-the-spot performance. Hey Director Su, our program is quite popular. Jiang Yan held up his phone, and the content displayed on it was the 24-hour live broadcast room of this live program. Before the official broadcast time, there were already tens of thousands of people waiting in the live broadcast room. That's it. Anyway, it's also a program from CCTV, and don't underestimate our popularity among the young people. Most of the audience here are attracted to her. Su Xing spoke and pointed to the female host who was putting on makeup next to her. Chen Qingqing, a popular outdoor journalist on CCTV recently. If it weren't for Su Xing's good connections, he wouldn't have been able to borrow this person over. In order to make a good start, Lao Su also put in a lot of effort. As for Jiang Yan's side, he doesn't have much interest in hosting beautiful women. I work 80 hours a week, but I don't have time to watch TV. However, he was somewhat interested in the camera standing on the opposite side. Don't forget, he still has a task waiting to be completed. This game development skill package sounds quite intimidating, but it's not a big deal. The main thing is that the Huabei bill. All the money has been spent. Don't fail a mission, that would be disastrous. Isn't it just self-promotion? Look, okay. Jiang Yan's eyes twitched as he realized that in order to avoid getting stuck in the future, he must quickly complete the task. He lifted his head and looked at Director Su and the staff who were busy, quietly moving towards the position of the camera. Not all the viewers in the live broadcast room are hanging up. He made a move here, and someone immediately saw him over there. Hey! Who is this person? I don't know, but this person wasn't included in the preview of the program's launch. That's the company employees, right? Good guy, I'm not at the workstation during work hours, so I'm just slacking off on the show team. Huh, you're still sneaking around. Brother, you've all been on TV, and now the whole country knows you're slacking off at work. The live broadcast room has already been filled with laughter. The chat channel, which was originally quiet, has also been flooded onto the screen. This kind of change was naturally seen by the staff of the data group at the first time. Director Su touched his earphones and heard news from the data group. He looked up and saw Jiang Yan working tirelessly there. I'll go. It's your kid again. Director Su now doesn't even know if he made this choice right or wrong. The boy surnamed Jiang is definitely a natural playwright. How could you add so much drama to yourself? Isn't it true that those who work in the software industry are all victims of social anxiety? What's wrong with this product? It's a genetic mutation. Without even thinking, Su Xing gathered 3 or 2 steps up and grabbed Jiang Yan's sleeve, pulling him out of the camera lens. This time, Jiang Yan didn't say anything and stopped working in the live broadcast room for now. Hey! What's going on? Don't take him away. We still want to see what he really wants. Isn't it true that the main theme is real? Is this director still causing trouble? In the live broadcast room, there was a moment of public discontent, and the barrage was scrolling faster. The feedback from the data group kept ringing in the earphones, causing Director Su to be extremely anxious. I said brother, you. Halfway through, facing Jiang Yan's plain and unadorned smile, he couldn't utter any reproach. Okay, subtitle the notification. Wait another 2 minutes and it will start broadcasting. Su Xing turned around and saw that the host had already put on his makeup, making a gesture of okay to himself. There's no way, the popularity is constantly increasing, so let the host warm up first. Wait for the time to arrive and start broadcasting on time. So Jiang Yan stood innocently on the side, waiting for everyone to finish their work. The host Chen Qingqing came on stage and fluently introduced the staff of the program team, just 2 jokes to stir up the atmosphere. Professional means professional. Jiang Yan nodded and praised. And then, I'm sure everyone is curious about this. Chen Qingqing said, guiding the camera towards Jiang Yan's direction. He is the passerby guest of our program, randomly brought by the director on the street. After speaking, give the camera a sweet smile. Let him introduce himself now. As soon as these words were spoken, Jiang Yan's eyes lit up. Hello everyone, my name is Jiang Yan and I am 28 years old. I have a father and mother, no car or house, unmarried and childless. I am sincerely seeking a girlfriend. Chen Qingqing. Director Su. 3. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. 004, National Marriage Solicitation. What social obsessive-compulsive disorder? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4004. National Marriage Solicitation. What social obsessive-compulsive disorder? What? In the live broadcast room, start scrolling through question marks. The audience was confused and didn't even know what had happened. I went to the wrong live broadcast room. Isn't it about career counseling? That's right, I just saw it. It's not about not bothering money. So what's the situation? Why has it turned into an online marriage search? There's a father and a mother, no car, no house. Then why not sign a fart marriage? It looks like he's already big and big. He doesn't have a car or a house yet. Who looks up to him? What kind of ordinary man? What's wrong with not having a car or a house? They're not bad looking either. What if a wealthy woman likes this kind of proactive little wolf dog? I have a high level of initiative and I don't want to work hard anymore when I ask for my aunt online. You guys should be sour. If you go up there, you won't be able to speak fluently, and your mouth will be full on the keyboard. That's right, don't steal or rob, rely on your own abilities to make a living, why can't you? The art style in the live broadcast room suddenly changed, with bullet comments flying horizontally, and the little heart that likes was even pushed to fly. The poor female host Chen stared at Jiang Yan with a proud expression, her mind momentarily falling into a blank. This situation can be said to be a live broadcast accident. Fortunately, the audience doesn't care about these either. Ching, speak the words, speak the words. Director Su wiped sweat while urging. Speaking of words. Oh yes, say. What, me? Chen just wants to ask, is this word in your script? How should I connect? However, as an expatriate journalist, she still has the ability to react on the spot. After clearing her throat, she handed the microphone to Jiang Yan. This not only interrupted his chatter, but also frightened him for a moment. Don't look at me, I'm not planning on finding a boyfriend yet. Chen shrugged and instantly pulled back the gaze of everyone in the live broadcast room. Senior Jiang's eloquence is really impressive. Please take a break and drink some water. Let's continue introducing the next contestant. This beautiful female host is afraid of Jiang. Judging from her speed, it seems that she is afraid that Jiang Yan will snatch the lead and continue the next topic. It's the first time I've seen Chen so panicked. The first contestant was just so skilled at getting things done, and I became curious about the next developments. Don't worry, this mysterious guest is a bit interesting. Just this person's eloquence, I feel wronged playing games. The next one is here. Which of these three people would be the first to quit? Anyway, it's definitely not Jiang Yan. The next contestant, Su Chang, has already started introducing himself, but the barrage in the live broadcast room is all about discussing Jiang Yan's performance. If he discovers this situation, he doesn't know what tricks will come up. 1 or 2, both were snatched by Jiang Yan. 1 or 2, both afraid of him continuing to steal the spotlight. Little did they know that Jiang no longer had the mood to argue with them. Because of his cheat, it has been credited to the account. Ding! Task completed. Reward distribution is underway, your Huabei bill has been cleared, and game development-related professional skill gift packages are being distributed. Skill gift pack decompression in progress. Skill acquisition in progress. Proficient in 2D painting techniques. 2D original design, UI design, live animation, special effects animation. Proficient in 3D modeling technology. 3D modeling, textures, materials, bone animation, special effects animation, proficient in art and design software. Photoshop, Maya, Spine, Illustrator, 3ds Max. Proficient in basic programming languages. C++, C#, Java, Lua, HTML, Python, CUDA.C. Proficient in game algorithm debugging. Message mechanism, state machine, AI foundation, physics engine, performance analysis, memory management, garbage collection, proficient in game development engines. Unity, Unreal, Cocos. Proficient in development process tools. Game design document, mind map, balsamic mockup, Office suite. Analysis of classic game design ideas, hey. System, everyone else has a big article, is that all for planning? Jiang Yan complains in his heart. However, one's own affairs are clear to oneself, and planning ability is something that cannot be quantified using a certain indicator. Compared to others, it's just a bragging ability. This is also a technical job, which requires both extensive knowledge and quick thinking, as well as good eloquence. Ordinary people really cannot do it. Looking back on his short career, Jiang Yan felt that this skill gift package was surprisingly reasonable. This game design idea. Memory in my mind is a mess, which takes a lot of time to digest. However, Jiang Yan still discovered something different from the ocean of knowledge that was about to drown him. On the other side, Lu Kaiwen behind the frosted glass was already gritting his teeth with energy. Not for anything else. It's just that seeing Jiang Yan show off is even more uncomfortable than him eating his own food. I used to have a little karami under my command, but now I am so arrogant and causing trouble in my own territory. Uncle and aunt can't bear it. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there will be a meeting in the large conference room. A message was posted in the work group and also at everyone. At that moment, I received a screen swipe. I just don't know how many people are cursing behind the screen. The morning meeting has just finished. I start work at 2 p.m., have a last-minute meeting at 3 p.m., and have a regular meeting before I finish work in the evening. After all the fuss this day, don't do anything. Alright, now all 3 contestants have been introduced. Now let me introduce the program rules for this time. In the live broadcast room, Chen Qingqing's sweet smiling face once again occupied the main position. The little episode just created by Jiang Yan has been completely blocked, and the program has finally returned to its original point. There are a total of 3 contestants in this program, and everyone has already seen them. The entire program lasts for half a month, during which the 3 contestants will learn about the game development process and related knowledge in the game companies they have seen, and then personally create their first game. During the production period, players can fully utilize the studio's help to complete game development. Of course, how to get everyone to take action will test the abilities of the 3. At the end of the program, the 3 games will be rated by the public and the champion of this episode will be selected. If a contestant chooses to withdraw midway, they will automatically lose their eligibility for selection. Of course, it's only half a month, so don't expect any major works anymore. Please be patient when rating. However, all 3 players have some experience in game development, so what if they can bring us some surprises? Chen Qingqing enthusiastically introduced the rules of this episode in front of the camera. It's not complicated to say. Create a game for half a month. This requirement is not simple to say. If you say it's difficult, it's actually not difficult either. After all, Jiang Yan's first game to enter the industry only took less than a week. The mobile game industry is like this. To be fast, to rush time, to pursue efficiency. It's not a masterpiece of stacking materials, it works quite quickly. However, things cannot be completed by one person. In the end, it is necessary to rely on the hands of the studio to complete the so-called game development. As for how many people can be assigned from the studio to assist the program team, Jiang Yan was just thinking when his phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Lighting up the screen, a message immediately popped up. Huogu, Mosquito just had a meeting, and inside and outside, I asked everyone not to help you. Be more careful yourself. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. 005, Who earns money from this game? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5005. Who earns money from this game? Jiang Yan made an okay gesture to go back. Press and turn off the phone casually. At the moment he saw the studio sign, he thought of this situation. It seems that Lu Kaiwen is still as cautious as ever. Back then, when I first started working. Because the previous habits of small workshops and studios were still there, he continued to treat the producer, his boss Lu Kaiwen, as his buddy. However, after 3 or 2 attempts, I finally realized that the taste was not right. Later, after being repeatedly put on small shoes, he gradually became distant and transformed into a low-key workaholic in front of him. Looking back now, many things were predetermined at that time. But just like how Jiang Yan understands Lu Kaiwen, Lu Kaiwen also saw Jiang Yan very clearly. This guy is really skilled in office politics. Jiang Yan leaned against his desk and watched the main camera, which had already left with the other two contestants. I know someone will definitely spread the word, and I also know that I will not make the old brother difficult. At the meeting, it's nothing more than emphasizing fairness by tilting resources towards two beginners. Who doesn't understand? This move is cunning enough. To be honest, Jiang Yan had to give him a thumbs up on this hand in his heart. However, he probably can't guess that I'm also a cheater now, right? Although this name doesn't sound good, the effect is really quite impressive. Looking up at the once familiar office, Jiang Yan smiled and walked towards the temporary workshop prepared for him. Others are getting close to the people in the studio. What is this guy doing? I don't know, but I like it. Come on, brother Hua, give everyone the whole job. He's looking at the camera, and he's also watching his live broadcast on his phone. He's so narcissistic, I like it. This. Look, the main camera is looking for someone. There's no one in the hall, so the director is probably numb. Hee, you feel numb when you encounter someone like this. Jiang Yan checked the computer prepared by the program team. Although not considered a top-of-the-line configuration, it is already sufficient for office use. The room is not large. From the live broadcast room, it is enough to cover the entire room without leaving any blind spots. It seems that I don't want to leave anyone any opportunity to fish. Except for going to the bathroom. Jiang Yan sat in the chair, squinting his eyes slightly, filtering out the knowledge that suddenly appeared in his mind. Then, he saw an angry face appear at the office entrance, and as he was about to enter the camera range, it instantly changed into a smile. Jiang Yan, why didn't you go to the lobby to meet your new colleague? The one who came in was Director Su. According to the process, the first meeting between three people and a new colleague should be filmed at this time. However, the other two finished filming, but Jiang Yan disappeared from his side. At that time, his heart was pounding. On second thought, it seemed like I didn't give someone a notebook and didn't know that the process was normal. Then he caught up with him in the office and saw the scene of Jiang Yan openly fishing in front of the camera. Don't worry. Jiang Yan across from him still had that harmless smile. I'll first organize my thoughts, organize them, and then I'll know who I need help with. Speaking of this, he seemed to suddenly remember something. There's an old saying, grind. Grind. Sharpening the knife won't delay the woodcutter, said the assistant Zhu Xiaotian on the side. Yes. Jiang Yan snapped his fingers. Director Su has a black line on his face. Hart said the little guy is just unreliable, let someone play it casually and get caught up in it. But he's not that easy to fool. What is the highlight of office interaction in this conceptual game content? So Su Xingping regained his emotions and asked with a smile. How's the idea going? Tell us about it. Jiang Yan also smiled. Turning around, I glanced at the newly created folder on my computer. Not yet. 2 words almost knocked Su Xing over. But I do remember a question. How does the copyright of this game count? Oh, that's to say, who earns money from this game? I'm so special. Director Su is completely dumbfounded. Isn't it so realistic to use it? Have you considered all these issues? Then, he reacted. This is the true work attitude. This guy is not here to play. He really wants to do something. But big brother, we're a variety show. You keep asking us these questions, and we're not prepared either. Su Sheng was completely dumbfounded. He is not a professional in this field, of course he doesn't know the answer. Fortunately, the directing team is not entirely focused on filming. When he was stunned, the director's team had already received the question at the same time. After experiencing a brief shock, the legal team immediately began to review the contract and found that there was really no provision for copyright ownership. In theory, there is no provision in the contract that the copyright belongs to the production team, which means that the relevant benefits and legal responsibilities belong to the producers themselves. If you want to apply for relevant documents, the production team can prepare them on your behalf. Su Sheng paused word by word, repeating the original words of legal affairs in his earphones. Oh. Jiang Yan breathed a sigh of relief. These are all recorded by cameras and live streamed synchronously. Since the chief director has already spoken, he can let go and do it. 5 minutes later, the delayed live broadcast signal successfully reached the live broadcast room. Who is the one who earns money from this game? Who should be counted? Whose? Jiang Yan's voice echoed in the ears of the audience, giving off an unreal feeling. Good guy, he's really a playwright. Create a new folder, plan it, and we can start sharing the spoils. By the way, what can be done in half a month? I don't know, but I was greatly shocked. Generally, game development cycles aimed at profit must also be calculated on a monthly basis, and with the time required for online polishing, it is definitely not feasible within a few months. Half a month, do you want to sell PPT directly for money? The crowd in the live broadcast room is boiling. A knowledgeable person sneers. Those who don't know how to eat melons. Not to mention anything else, the heat has definitely risen. The originally inconspicuous number 3 source has been soaring with the popularity of the entire live broadcast room. Big data also captured this heat anomaly at the first time and began to allocate less traffic to test the waters. Of course, it was not just Dong Gu in the live broadcast room who was shocked. Jiang Yan's former colleagues are also quietly fishing at this moment. For those with technical skills, just create a small plugin to convert AI audio to text and watch live text broadcasts. If you don't have the technical skills, just pretend to listen to music, but in reality, connect your phone with Bluetooth to listen to live broadcasts. Then, they heard Jiang Yan's high opinion. Huogu deserves to be Huogu, still so straightforward. Ha, I'll just say, Huogu is a person who can't starve to death even if he goes anywhere. Who earns money from the game? Don't worry, whether you can make it or not, just throw this title out and it can bring some popularity. You're still laughing, I'm worried to death. What if I can't produce the work by then? Forget it, Brother Hua still worries about us. That's true, let's worry about the director's blood pressure. In a chat group called Workgroup.1, a group of people are discussing enthusiastically and eating melons crazily. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. 006, playing for 2.5 days in 3 days. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6006. Playing for 2.5 days in 3 days. Early the next morning, Jiang Yan arrived at the scene by pressing the line. Make sure to clock in accurately at 8:59 on the clock-in machine. I didn't expect my body to be gone from the company, my instincts are still there. Jiang Yan, holding an empty cup in his hand, ignored the main camera that was filming him and went to the tea break. 2 rock candies and 5 goji berries, put them in a thermos and fill it with a large cup of hot water. This was when the cameraman stunned and escorted him to his office. The cameraman had already discovered this extraordinary person. After the chief director gave him more shots yesterday, the cameraman became even more determined in his ideas. After all, the news in the filming team is not closed, and as soon as the analysis from the data team comes out, it becomes clear who is more popular with the audience. Pan Liming is just a little transparent, not many people like to watch, and the popularity is pitiful. Although Su Chang has his own controversial topic, he is still black and red, and he doesn't know how to manipulate it. He was completely crushed into a mess by Jiang Yan. So it is inevitable for resources to have a tendency. And the cameraman has a wide range of knowledge, so naturally he has also discovered some unusual things. Different from the other 2 who left late and arrived early. Jiang Yan, this guy, actually left work at 6 o'clock on time yesterday. The filming team has not finished work yet and has not returned to the hotel. He is fine, and the person has already disappeared. Leave an empty office room as if no one has been here. The audience in the live broadcast room was indignant. There are those who don't mind watching the excitement and demand that the filming team bring people back to work overtime. I estimate this is the first time in their lives that these people are so passionate about working overtime. Jiang Yan doesn't have as many ideas as others. Showcasing the brutality of the workplace, those two are enough. He wants to enjoy life more now. Speaking of which, this system is really unreliable. I thought this knowledge was just for use, but I didn't expect it would take time to digest. Jiang Yan also wanted to finish work early, but the situation did not allow it. According to the current progress, it will take 2 days to digest everything. There's no way. This game is a systematic project, and things that originally required several people or even dozens or hundreds of people to work together are all crammed into one person's mind. It's good if they don't explode. In view of this, Jiang Yan simply put on a big show. Open the computer, rename the new folder, and then drag in the previously blank Word document to open it. Staring at the screen in a daze for a while, I downloaded a simulator and went to play games. Playing games, listening to music, watching anime, so the whole morning rushed by. The audience in the live broadcast room looked at the blank document and was dumbfounded. Jiang, on the other hand, had already gone to the cafeteria downstairs of the company to enjoy his workday lunch. Jiang Yan's appetite is wide open. Some people cannot eat. Lu Kaiwen's mind is now a mess. Different from employees. With an independent office, he can openly watch live broadcasts during working hours. Originally, Jiang Yan chose to mess things up, and the happiest thing was probably him. However, his carefully planned rejection did not have any effect, which greatly disappointed him. Moreover, based on his understanding of Jiang Yan, the other party is not such a person at all. Otherwise, I wouldn't directly point at my nose and curse my mother after leaving. No, he must have some reason for doing this. But what's the reason? Playing those ancient games in the emulator one by one can be said to be collecting inspiration, but what kind of ghost is listening to music and watching anime? Is it that he wants to play with self-destruction and tarnish the reputation of our studio? Impossible. This will implicate the innocent, and he won't want to get involved in this industry himself. What is that? Are you trying to force the filming team to contact him for help by posing a threat? But the filming team also needs to find people through me. Lu Kaiwen couldn't figure it out no matter what he thought. Picking up his hair one by one, I couldn't figure out why Jiang Yan was so arrogant. I am so anxious that I have forgotten my original job. From time to time, I want to look at my phone and see what Jiang Yan is doing. In the blink of an eye, it arrived at the 3rd day. During these 3 days, Jiang Yan has been repeating his simple and boring work. As he completely collapsed, the popularity of the live broadcast room also declined and began to be surpassed by the second-placed Su Chang. In the past 2 days, he has completed the production of the first version of the planning proposal and started to contact art to create sketches. On the other hand, Jiang Yan's progress is still stuck in the new folder stage. Just when everyone thought he was going to give up completely, this guy finally started working. However, he still hasn't searched for a suitable helper like others, nor did they start production from the planning proposal like the other two. He started drawing directly. And looking at that one move, it really looks a bit professional. This time, the audience who were still standing firm in the live broadcast room were all taken aback. Damn it, this guy's drawing isn't bad. This simplest cartoon style is not difficult at all, you can't tell the level, but fast is really fast. How could this proficiency be considered a professional veteran art? Isn't it true that this product was originally a planner? How could it still draw? I heard that being a planner requires knowing everything. Who said that? I know everything, but why do I need programming and art? The popularity of the live broadcast room has rebounded, and Jiang Yan spent 2 simple pictures to bring the temperature of the live broadcast room back up once again. On the other hand, the studio staff, who were worried about Jiang Yan's future, also immediately realized that the situation was not right. What's going on? Huogu still has this skill. Old song, did you teach him? A message appears in the group. Everyone looked towards the 2D main beauty of the studio. No, if he knows how to draw, shouldn't we just argue when we're free? Just show me the picture, won't it be over? Yeah, planning requires everyone to know how to draw, there's no need for colorful black. Other artists have also voiced their agreement, causing planners to jump off the building. JPG and swipe the screen. Hey, that's not right. He seems to have started typing code. Boy, isn't he prepared to do it all by himself. If we were to play some simple games, the code wouldn't be complicated, but we wouldn't be able to handle that kind of thing either. Have you ever heard that Huogu has a programming foundation? I haven't heard of it before. A group of programmers shook their heads and began to think in their minds about what kind of game could be solved directly with beginner code. It's only half a month, let's not say if it can be done, but even debugs consume a lot of energy. A group of people expressed dissatisfaction. Then, after an afternoon, Jiang Yan's side began to package and debug. Everyone in workgroup .1 is dumbfounded. I heard Huogu even took some time this afternoon to borrow the MIDI keyboard from the studio. Damn it. He wouldn't even want to make music himself, would he? Everyone remained silent. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 007, Flappy Bird goes live. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7007. Flappy Bird goes live. It only took less than a day. To be precise, it's one afternoon plus half a morning. Jiang Yan's game has just been released. Although some packaging and details are still missing, viewers can still see some clues through the signals in the live broadcast room. A round little bird flapped its wings on the screen. And with each press of Jiang Yan's finger, the birds on the screen will flutter more vigorously. The operation only has one button, which seems ordinary. But it carries an unusual charm that makes people want to try it out themselves. Especially when seeing Jiang Yan, the producer, crash into the water pipe every time he doesn't play for long, it makes the audience in front of the live broadcast signal even more eager to grab the keyboard and personally teach him how to play games. It's indeed a simple little game, and if you do it alone, at most that's all. But this game looks so addictive. Although it's still quite rough, why can't I control my fingers and want to follow along? By the way, is this guy so awesome? He takes care of all the work. Yeah, I borrowed all the keyboards, so I guess I'm even prepared to do the music myself. How could someone be fired from the company just because they are so awesome? What kind of blind leader is doing such a foolish thing? Don't even talk about it. With this guy's personality, no matter how talented he is, he can't stay. Otherwise, everyone will start work on time and finish work on time. The health benefits of soaking goji berries in rock sugar every day are unbearable. For those who don't maintain good health, let's not talk about it. If they can make this kind of game, what do you care about them? Yeah, working overtime every day doesn't necessarily mean being efficient, does it? In the live broadcast room, there was once again a big discussion. On Jiang Yan's side, preliminary debugging has been completed, and he has put on heavy headphones to start preparing for BGM music. Sound effects can be directly used online without involving copyright. But BGM directly determines the tone of a game and is the most indispensable thing. He doesn't have time to find an outsourcing company to grind things a bit now, so he decided to start directly on his own. Fortunately, the big gift package in my mind also comes with basic proficiency in electronic music editing, and there is no threshold for operation. So that morning, a small game with completed music was freshly released. Next, just create some promotional images and you can directly apply for listing approval. The progress on Jiang Yan's side is smooth. On the production team's side, everyone is numb. These are only 3 days. The first week hasn't passed yet. Are you really ready to list your games on the App Store? Besides, both of them have just started, and the fastest one, Su Chang, will only be able to release the test demo on the weekend. I heard that this is the progress, and maybe he will have to work overtime on the weekend. You are so kind, Director Su almost knelt down on the spot. It's done now. What will we do in the next week? Continue to mess it up. Okay, we can't call it a mess anymore. They call it a concept game. Su Sheng was speechless, watching the rising popularity in the live broadcast room and the comments from the audience who were crazily willing to put the game on the shelves, extremely excited on one side. My heart is dripping blood on one side. Excitedly, their program became popular. Not only is the popularity skyrocketing now, but it is also very likely to be taken away by Jiang Yan's small game in the future. What drips blood is this: Jiang Yan really knows how to cause trouble. No, he really doesn't know how to do things. Why not enjoy such a good thing for a while longer? What are you doing so fast for? Ah. Why? Director Su hasn't enjoyed enough popularity yet, okay. No, I need to think of some other way. Director Su's mind was spinning, and he had to worry a lot to fill in the second half of the program. For promotional images won't last long. Before finishing work in the afternoon, Jiang Yan's game had already been submitted for online review. This small game with a small size and low rating cannot be reviewed for long. So Jiang Yan didn't worry either. He drank all the hot water in the thermos and went to work on time. As Shi Shiran checked in and out, he didn't even know that a pair of bright red eyes were looking at him through the frosted glass at the end of the office. Lu Kaiwen. I had insomnia yesterday. I flipped over all night and couldn't sleep, but in the end, my wife drove me to the sofa and stayed up with my eyes open until dawn. There's no way. As soon as you close your eyes, Zhang's despicable smiling face will immediately appear in front of you. In this situation, no one will be able to sleep. As soon as I started working this morning, as expected, that guy's game had already completed the debug and finished the online closing work. Damn it. How could I not have known this kid had this skill? A stinky worker who still leaves a hand at work deserves your lifetime of poverty. Lu Kaiwen harbored a deep hatred in his heart. He has always climbed up from the management position and doesn't have much professional skills. But as the boss of the studio, holding the highest annual salary in dividends in the entire studio, naturally looks superior to others. What about you guys doing this and that? Are you still working under my command? This idea has always been deeply ingrained. So he has always held a hostile attitude towards Jiang Yan, whose upward path coincides with his, and his popularity is good. Intentionally suppressing something goes without saying. Jiang Yan's resignation can also be said to have been facilitated by him. But now, damn it. Lu Kaiwen's fist slammed heavily on the desk. This kid is really trying to mess with me. There is now a buzz online that Jiang Yan's boss doesn't know how to judge people with his eyes, and he even fired such a capable person. Just talk about keyboard warriors on the internet. If this kind of words reach the ears of senior executives in the company, they won't be able to take off a hat that they don't know how to use. It is unknown whether one can maintain their position under their buttocks, let alone continue to be promoted to the management level. But he has nothing to do now. Yes. Take Jiang Yan, there is no way, no way. When they play this game, everything is their own. I can't find any loopholes or controversies. Lu Kai's face was as lifeless as ashes, feeling lost for the first time in his life about his future. Lu Kaiwen is responsible for psychological activities on his end. Jiang Yan, whom he regarded as his archenemy, still had a plain and indifferent life. He really didn't think about reporting to his former boss or anything, these are all collateral damages. As for cheats, he used it with peace of mind. No need to hang, expired and invalid. The compliments from others that do not belong to him cannot make him float. I know my own things clearly. Jiang Yan walked out of the office building and looked at the already setting sun. After truly mastering these skills, he realized what he lacked in his previous self. The ancient said that one is never too old to learn, which is true. Thinking of that game idea suddenly popping up in my mind, then thinking of the small game, Flappy Bird, that just submitted for review. He felt a surge of emotion. If it were my previous self, I wouldn't have this kind of academic brain to master so much knowledge. However, from the moment I was pulled down by Director Su on the street, everything was different. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. 008, Buying Hot Search. Can we use flower shells? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8008. Buying Hot Search. Can we use flower shells? The next morning, everything went as usual. Jiang Yan didn't wander around either, he just hid in his own office. The porting work is not complicated, occasionally refreshing the review results and feeling the fish is quite enjoyable. For him, this first work is still of great significance. Although I know it won't fall off the chain, I still have some concerns. However, while he has nothing to do on his end, the production team can no longer hold back. Boss, we have tracked down our keywords and found that the third source has accounted for 90%, and over 80% of users have expressed interest in Jiang Yan's game. When Su Xing just received yesterday's live broadcast data report, he was still in a drowsy state. But upon hearing this, the whole person jumped out of the seat in one fell swoop. Director Su's face was filled with joy yesterday as he swept away the anxiety of the other two groups having an overnight meeting. This is a good thing. Have you confirmed it? Confirmed, only a little more. The staff responsible for data organization also looked excited. Not only that, we also found a phenomenon. Jiang Yan's live broadcast room seems to have very high stickiness, even if he is fishing, many people are willing to hang up in the live broadcast room. This situation is very magical. Su Xing was stunned at these words. Are the audience so idle now? Who knows? The two of them exchanged a glance, both seeing a hint of strangeness in each other's eyes. Alright, you go take a break. I'll go find Jiang Yan now. This is such a great opportunity, we can't miss it. We need to strike while the iron is hot. After speaking, Director Su patted the young man's shoulder and went to find Jiang Yan in a lively manner. By hot search. Can I use Huabei? Jiang Yan was speechless when he heard Director Su's intention. Are you really good like this? Are we currently broadcasting? After speaking, he also clicked on the camera hanging from the ceiling. Hi. This is not a very normal thing, can't we just say that he doesn't exist? Lao Su is also carefree, and he doesn't shy away from live streaming programs. No wonder he was assigned to do such a thankless job. However, Jiang Yan didn't know about these things. With this uncle's honesty alone, he had a bit more of a liking for him. But the matter of spending money, no need to talk, Jiang Yan leaned back into his chair and shook his thermos. Brother Jiang, do you have any concerns? Don't worry, although our program team lacks funds, it's not lacking in this aspect. We only asked you to contribute a portion because the rules are like this. Brother guarantees with his personality that the money spent on promotion will definitely only make a profit and not lose. Su Xing is a bit anxious. This spending money on promotion is completely a good thing. With the current level of anticipation for Jiang Yan's game, it is definitely worth it. Moreover, the big head in this is still from the filming team, and he can't figure out why Jiang Yan refused. Be poor to put it bluntly, Director Su is foolish. Immediately, recalling the scene of 200 in a day, at that time, he felt relieved again. This should be the truth. Although he couldn't figure out why employees in such large companies didn't have money, he decided to persuade him again. If not, he could borrow from his own pocket. Who knew, Director Su, I know you're kind-hearted, but... Jiang Yan held the thermos and smiled proudly. Did you underestimate the potential of this game? As soon as these words were spoken, Director Su was immediately stunned. Potential. What era is it now? The aroma of wine is even afraid of deep alleys. If you don't launch it as soon as possible, wait for someone else's counterfeit products to be launched, and then they will spend money promoting them, and you will become a fake. Director Su is a bit anxious. Jiang Yan stood up and patted his shoulder. Su Xing suddenly felt a bit familiar with the scene. Just as he was about to say something, he heard the voice of Jiang Yan drifting further and further away in his ear. Director Su, then you are underestimating the potential of your program. When he turned around, he realized that Jiang Yan had already gone far and had gone to the tea break to drink water. What Jiang Yan said was all from the heart. This kind of magical click-and-play minigame is still the first time it has been launched in the market, which is bound to cause a heated discussion and may even rely on the spread of mini-programs to gain popularity. And Director Su's program Jiang Yan has been scrolling through live broadcasts these days, and he has always kept records of the data in the live broadcast room. The visible growth cannot be explained by big data. It is obvious that live streaming platforms have also noticed this hot topic. Just haven't contacted the production team yet. According to the efficiency of these internet companies, the people who came to contact and the staff who dug the corner of other platforms should already be on the way. Jiang Yan guessed this wrong. Director Su returned to the office dejectedly, considering whether he would use his own pocket to brush off a wave of traffic. Zhu Xiaotian was sweating profusely as he searched for him everywhere. Director. The person from Dugwa Live just contacted our group and said they have cooperation to discuss. Their people have already set off for our hotel. Su Sheng. They also said they told us not to answer others' phones for now, let's listen to their terms and conditions first. Really? Confirmed. Director Su looked surprised. Yes, Director, we have verified the video connection and it's true. Zhu Xiaotian's face was flushed with excitement. For a live broadcast program, or a live broadcast program released from the station without any support, if we can achieve strategic cooperation with the platform, it almost means that it will inevitably become popular as a newcomer. Being involved in this project for the first time is not enough to excite him. As for Su Sheng, he is an old TV personality and has a natural stubbornness towards satellite signals, but he is much calmer than his assistant. What surprised him even more was that guy Jiang Yan. This kid. Are you really from an evil sect? Since he joined the company, Lao Su has completely bid farewell to his mundane life. These days, the blood pressure has been fluctuating like a roller coaster. The antihypertensive drugs that haven't been used for many years have been renewed. Now it's good, most likely it's been through to the end. This kid, how did he think about it? Is there really? No way, I have to go to the temple to pay respects someday. That evening, Flappy Bird officially passed the review. Guizi's App Store immediately launched this simple mini-game. Not long after, the pigeon market also quickly caught up. At the same time, the audience who had been waiting for a long time in the live broadcast room also immediately showed their abilities and rushed to download. At the same time, game packages have also appeared on various small websites in China at the first time, completing the transition from export to domestic sales with a sweeping momentum. Lu Kaiwen is also one of these first batch of users. Throughout the day, he was restless and refreshed the store page more frequently than anyone else. Get started with the game as soon as possible. After only playing for 5 minutes, he slammed his phone onto his desk and his entire face turned pale. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 009, Mid-Term Review, Jiang Yan's Criticism. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9009. Mid-Term Review, Jiang Yan's Criticism. As a producer, my hands-on ability may be average, but I still have eye power. At the first moment he started playing the game, he realized that it couldn't stop him. With the endorsement of the production team for surfing the new workplace, it can even ignore the challenge of counterfeit products. Jiang Yan's lack of enthusiasm has little to do with Lu. But what is the cruelest thing? It's nothing more than letting go of an opportunity to take off with one's own hands. This is true for ordinary people, and even more so for a profession that relies on eyesight to make a living. In the game production industry, whether it's small or large, it's not that big. In a few days, the news that his subordinate Lu Kaiwen gave up and became famous overnight will spread in the gaming industry. By then, not to mention the sharp drop in his value, he is more likely to be held accountable from above. Thinking of this, Lu Kaiwen couldn't sleep even more at night. The momentum is like a river, vast soup, unstoppable. At this point, how Lu Kaiwen thinks is no longer important. After these days of streaming accumulation, the live broadcast room of Surfing New Workplace has a daily active user base of 400,000 to 500,000. Most of them are interested in the small game developed by Jiang Yan. Whether playing games or not, everyone wants to give it a try. However, due to the fact that the first batch of products launched mainly focused on overseas platforms and fruit machines, only a small portion were able to experience them in the first place. However, this small part has repeatedly boosted the reputation of the game. This has further aroused more curiosity. I also want to play. What's up with Jiang Yan? Why not post it on domestic platforms first? That's it. Do our Chinese people have no money? Put it on my shelf now. Brother, this is a free game, it's free of charge. Don't want any money. Then why don't you give it to foreigners to play with first? Worshipping foreigners, quickly put it on my shelf. In no time, the live broadcast room was filled with chaotic reminders. And those who stand in Jiang Yan's position have mostly successfully played the game by now, so they naturally have no time to speak up and defend him. For a moment, a condemnation conference was held in the live broadcast room, and it was extremely lively. The culprit Jiang Yan slept soundly. It wasn't until early the next morning that he realized he had already caused a falling out in the live broadcast room yesterday. As usual, I stepped into the office on time, but this time I was greeted by countless surprised gazes. Amazing gazes from former colleagues. Hua Gu, you are really hiding it deep and not revealing it. Yeah, brother Hua, are you afraid that you might end up doing everything? Brothers, you don't have food to eat, do you? It's okay to hide so deep, Lao Jiang. You're so popular now. When you're developed, don't forget to treat yourself. Jiang Yan greeted him all the way, feeling the unprecedented enthusiasm of his former colleagues. When he arrived at the program office, what caught his eye was a gloomy mist. Don't you respond? The live broadcast room is almost overwhelmed. What is the situation? Jiang Yan looked at Director Su with a tired face and a head full of mist. You even choose platforms to post games on, and now many people are complaining that they can't play them. Isn't there an installation package that Google removed? Just install it directly. Jiang Yan scratched his head. Boss. The viewers watching the live broadcast don't have so many ideas. They just search and start spraying when they don't come back. Who would even study how to install it? Jiang Yan really doesn't know much about the sinking market, but he's really his own when it comes to this. How about you send a short video to explain and I'll launch it for you. Director Su came closer and proposed a solution. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yan shook his head and said, "Isn't today a mid-term inventory? Just add a QA session when the time comes, and I'll just talk about this question." Jiang Yan smiled with a confident expression. Say it during the live broadcast. Su Sheng was speechless for a moment. Okay. You're not afraid of being sprayed on the next broadcast. In the afternoon, the cleaned conference room. Chen Qingqing held the microphone and sat in the middle, smiling so sweetly. Now that the mid-term evaluation stage has come to an end, we have seen the progress of the contestants' production compared to everyone else. Welcome to our live broadcast room for scoring. Okay, I know you're not here for this, so let's move on to the eagerly anticipated Q&A session. Let me take a look. The first audience question. Okay, Mr. Jiang. The netizen, sure, wants to ask, why did you choose to release the game on foreign platforms as soon as possible instead of choosing domestic platforms? After asking the question, the camera switched from the panoramic view to Jiang Yan's face. As expected, this first question is indeed aimed at him. Jiang Yan just smiled. Because it's simple, I'm very tight on time. As soon as these words were spoken, the live broadcast room exploded. Are you tight on time? You've been playing for 2.5 days in 3 days, what's so tight? Chen Qingqing also had a face full of tears and laughter. Is it just such a simple reason? Jiang Yan nodded. The pot of development tools is easier to ship to foreign platforms. However, I have been working on porting and there are also mini program versions that I will soon meet with everyone. After speaking, he still spread his hand. After all, it's a program that lasts for half a month. It's finished so quickly. What else will be broadcasted later? As soon as these words were spoken, the barrage in the live broadcast room flew up again. The row of it covers the entire screen like a waterfall. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. Chen Qingqing quickly shifted the topic and began to search for the next question. Oh. Is this friend very proactive? He even brushed the rocket specifically to ask a question, but this question is a bit. Okay. The beautiful female host hesitated for a moment, but still asked the question. Kevin 1987, an online game, asked, do you choose to release the game overseas in order to intentionally avoid censorship issues due to early release? What do you think of our censorship system? The relentless pursuit of this question, coupled with the hot keywords of the topic, suddenly aroused the curiosity of the audience. Good guy, you're trying to play with me to death. Jiang Yan raised his head, looked at the people around him, and then smiled. Of course, there are also considerations in this regard. Jiang Yan's answer was direct, not only in the live broadcast room, but also in the live broadcast. However, Jiang Yan smiled. The friend who asked the question seems a bit amateur. The mini-program channel goes through platform review, which usually takes 1.3 working days to complete. Content like Flappy Bird is simple, and the review is also very fast. As for the audit system, I am certainly very supportive. Jiang Yan smiled naturally. But the live broadcast room was already boiling. Thank you for playing games and openly betraying the organization. Yeah, just because of this, how many good games have been stifled and still supported? What do you think? If you're threatened, just blink, but we can't save you. Brother Jiang, don't worry about flying. If you have something to do, take it on your own. In the live broadcast room, joyful people, demonic people, and onlookers all went online, making a lot of noise. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. 010, mini-games are on the rise, and programs are on the rise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Mini-games are on the rise, and programs are on the rise. To be honest, can a mere review really influence the overall situation? Jiang Yan ignored the anger of the crowd and continued speaking. Some people say that due to censorship, only a few games are produced in a year, and all the small studios they run are completely wiped out. There is no hope for domestic games anymore, blah blah. Please, if you say this, insiders will laugh at you. A few years ago, when the game was launched, what kind of garbage was produced? I packed tens of thousands of yuan to buy a piece of code, and spent tens of thousands of yuan to outsource a batch of garbage to clean up the edges. A new game was launched. A few tens or even millions of yuan were salvaged, and it was safe to keep the bag safe. That market environment, TSK. If I really wanted to make money, then it was the golden age. So, that's why I agree with regulating the market. Let's go overseas and roll it up together. Some people mention 3A masterpieces, which is confusing the concept. Do you really expect small workshops that exploit loopholes to make money to develop domestic single machine and 3A masterpieces? Do you really have the intention to do 3A and produce good products, but you won't pass the review? Is it okay for them to deliver directly to their doorstep? Only with money can we produce good products. Please. Can you first ask the top players in the mobile game industry if they have this idea? Who would be willing to put in the effort to stand up and make money while lying down? In this way, those struggling to climb up still have to be blacked out and stomped on a few feet. How did so many excellent domestic single machines die in earlier years? Some people are just being lenient on the outside and strict on the inside. This is an old topic. Saying foreigners are arrogant and don't take the domestic market seriously. This is not normal. Even if they leave with a lot of money, they haven't stopped anyone from chasing and giving money. The products are all raised by users, and every penny you spend on junk games is a voice you voluntarily give up. Wake up, the gaming industry is like this, and everyone here has a responsibility. Me. Including me. Game rating. Stop making trouble. They are all foxes from 1,000 years old. What kind of innocent youth are they pretending to be? Back then, my parents' CDs were so hidden that they didn't stop you from flipping them out and looking. Just one level, useful is strange. What should we do? Let the people who should make money earn money, and leave the rest to time. As soon as the live broadcast ended, Jiang Yan's violent comments instantly swept across the internet. The online public opinion is complex, and there are all kinds of things to say. Jiang Yan's words were like writing, "Come on, curse me," all over his forehead. Isn't this a hammer that needs to be hammered? For a moment, those who supported and those who opposed ended up arguing endlessly. Game anchors from various platforms quickly caught the hotspots and began to fight against each other. At this moment, not only the program, Surfing in the New Workplace, but also Jiang Yan became popular. And at this moment of discussion about the degree explosion table, the mini-program version of Flappy Bird has quietly launched, completely igniting the internet. As Jiang Yan said, a good game with a high level of discussion, the platform is eager to directly put it on your shelves. This side has just submitted for review, and the reviewers there seem to be on standby 24 hours a day, and they have been approved directly. In just a few hours, this small game with simple and magical operation, exquisite and cute graphics, and explosive music rhythm spread instantly in various social circles. Under the added heat, a small game completely exploded the internet. Some people say that this is a rare lightweight small game and a great relaxation product. Some people say that this is a piece of trash that hypes up the topic and leaves the actual content dry. Both sides argued fiercely for a while, pushing the game's popularity to its peak. With the further popularity of the game, Jiang Yan's program team also rose in popularity, forming a reverse flow. The number of daily active viewers in the live broadcast easily exceeded 1 million, and it is still jumping rapidly in units of 10,000. This is already an astronomical number for a workplace lifestyle live broadcast program that is only distributed locally. So much so that when Director Su meets people these days, his smiling face cannot be stopped. Is it really fake? Look, isn't there a screenshot here? There's a picture and the truth. The screenshot of my Taobao is still in 8 digits. Do you believe that my net worth exceeds 100 million? Don't worry if it's true, this game is so popular, and this guy named Jiang Yan must have made a lot of money. Hehe, it's only fools who are willing to give him money by raising the difficulty circle advertising money. Ah. Is there an advertisement? I didn't see it. I just played, don't lie to me. The frequency of this advertisement is not too high, I think it's okay. The screenshot posted online is really exaggerated. However, in this wave, Jiang Yan's income has also been considerable, and just these few days' income has already caught up with the income of the past few years. With this game, achieving 8-digit numbers and wealth freedom is not difficult. In fact, Jiang Yan's charging strategy this time is still very conservative. Don't make money without face, don't make money without face. Between the two, Jiang Yan chose an average value. If you really want to make money, just play ads every time the game fails, resurrect ads, bonus item ads. Did the player get angry and run away? It doesn't matter, just keep recruiting new members. Taking advantage of a wave of heat, completely catch up and catch up. In any case, the internet has no memory, so it is good for him to be free in wealth, regardless of the market climate. However, Jiang Yan comes from this industry after all. Although he has resigned now, he still doesn't want to give his old friend a reputation of greed and bloodthirsty. So he set a period of at least 5 minutes for the advertisement of reopening the game, and also thoughtfully blocked the advertisement for failures below 1 minute. For beginners, having enough time to enjoy that no wide experience is very friendly. Do not cut tender chives. Jiang still has principles. Although not much is enough. Along with the popularity of mini-games, programs have also become popular. Just the wind is a bit off course. Hello. Have you all watched Surfing the New Workplace? I've watched it, but I remember back then it was said to be a career counseling program. How could a contestant suddenly become rich overnight and reach the pinnacle of their life? Will they still marry by Fume and be promoted to CEO next? That's right, I just came in when I saw the topic of dropping out of school and playing games at the age of 16. I thought it was a program to discourage internet-addicted teenagers, but I didn't expect it. Don't you mention it, isn't that enough to persuade me to quit? If it were me, I would just participate in a program competition, and the person next to me would suddenly become more developed by playing a small trash game. I would be so angry that I would vomit blood and withdraw from the competition. Haha, isn't this equivalent to a youth palace competition, and the student next to him broke the world record? Playing around, why are you buttoning your eyes? Ha ha ha. Not to mention, it has a strong flavor. This Jiang Yan is not the one arranged by the program team to ruin the show, is it? Do you think it was specially arranged by the program team to show them the strength of the successful ones and then honestly go back to study? I think it's possible. Maybe it's bullshit. The production team needs to have this skill, just play games, and there's no need to do these gimmicks. At the beginning, it was just so big. Do you think it will be even more exciting in the future? Who knows? Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen such a troublemaker on a show. End of this chapter.